Hi, this is Qua, and I'm going to go over a couple duels with my brother, Pachyderm, on his DK, and I'm going to pick them apart for you and show you how to use an Arms Warrior to its full potential, even though he's overgeared above me just a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and watch this first one. I'm going to probably heroic leap here at the beginning to get some distance, and then I'm going to fight him.
Yesterday, the United States of America yesterday the United States of America yesterday the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked.
So to break this down, in the beginning of the fight, I start out really slow. I try to keep my bleeds up. I have Rend and Sunder Armor on one button. But I'm not actually really popping any cooldowns here. I'm just kind of auto-attacking him with the occasional overpower. And with a Frost DK, if they can mitigate their damage, you're in a lot of trouble because they can put out a whole lot. But if you hit them real hard, then they have to start derp striking, and after that it's all over.
Lichborn.
Here in the later part of the fight, you can see that Recklessness still hasn't popped yet, which means that I missed it before, and that was extra damage that I could have had but didn't have anymore.
Drink.
All in all, there were a few things wrong with that match that made me lose in the end. One, not opening up on him as hard as I could have, and the other one, I just wasn't paying attention and I didn't pop the CDs that I needed to pop to win. So we're going to look at a win, and I'm going to show you why I won, and then I'm going to share some macros with you that I have come up with over the last couple days, well, last week or so, that really help optimize both your damage mitigation and your damage output.
There is no blinking at the fact that our people, our territory, and our interests are in grave danger. Between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Alright, so why did I win that exactly? Well, in the beginning, I create a lot of space just like I did the first time. You want always a lot of space so you can open up with that throwdown that puts him down. Right after that throwdown comes up and that animation is over, I hit him with a shout. Keep him in place. Now you can tell that I popped everything and switched to Berserker stance to maximize my damage. Wreck is popped, my badge is popped, everything. I switched back to battle stance here, and I'm hitting him for 10, 12k with overpower. All that I'm doing is I'm just putting a ton
Bourne.
of pressure on him, and once he gets down below about half, he has to start death striking, and once he starts death striking,
Hungering Cold.
then he's not putting out as much damage, and I don't have to worry about my health going down as much as it has before. Plus, he's going to bring out his ghoul again. There it is. And, you know, I have Retail and Sweeping Strikes keybound together in a macro so that, you know, if he puts him on me, it won't matter because, you know, I'm doing just as much damage back out. So, and they're hitting him in addition to his ghoul. Pretty much just a dance to see whoever gets to 0 first. I'm just really trying to keep up with him, and he's trying to kite me away at the same time as he's mitigating his damage, but it won't make a difference. At this point, you know, you've won and you deserved it. Here's just a quick inspect on the differences in gear we're talking about. Even though you may be outgunned occasionally, or that he's got, you know, 500 more Brazil than you do, you can still come out on top, and, you know, Arms Warriors are still very much a playable class and a playable spec, and it's been all a buzz on forums lately that, you know, Warriors are done, and that the beards are weak, but the beards aren't weak. I think I'm gonna go over, you know, your hit percents and stuff with you. About 5% hit, and then you can stack everything else just the way you want to. You can always spec out a haste. You know, the harder you hit, the better. I can go over some macros with you. Some that I've kind of tweaked around with. I mentioned a couple. I mentioned that I have Render and Sunder Armor on the same keybind. That's a macro of mine. I have Retail and Sweeping Strikes on the same keybind. Mathematically, it just makes sense. There's no reason not to have it. I also, when I pop my CDs, I switch to Berserker Stance. I have a macro for that. You get an extra 5% damage. That extra 5% can, you know, it can really add up. Also, for defense, I have a macro that switches to Defensive Stance, equips a sword and shield, and you can pop shield wall and shield block at that time, and then you can even, you know, you can disarm your opponent at that time too, and it gives you, you know, disarms a pretty big debuff. It gives you some time, and then I just hit my other macro, which casts Battle Shout and puts you back into battle stance, and equips your two-handed sword or two-handed whatever you're using, and, you know, your damage is back up, they're disarmed, you had shield wall for that little time. You can use that defensive macro while you hit enraged regeneration at the same time, to really mitigate your damage, like mitigate your damage to you and really up your healing. It's, you know, it can make or break a fight, and you just got to be smart about these kind of things. Yeah, so like I said, Arms is still a very playable class, a very playable spec, and I hope this helps.